Now, WBOC News at 6, Delmarva's news leader.
A look onto a Wicomico County farm, and what we see is horrifying. From Chopper 16, dozens of dead horses and possibly one of the worst cases of animal neglect. Good evening. Thanks for being here tonight. I'm Todd Carley.
And I'm Chris Weimer in for Steve Hammond. Welcome to WBOC News at 6. WBOC got a call this morning, so we flew Chopper 16 over a farm in Hebron. And when video came into the newsplex, we were stunned, and we immediately called the authorities. The Wicomico County Sheriff's Office tells WBOC the property is owned by Barbara Pilchard on Cherry Walk Road. Police say they found at least 25 dead horses in various states of decay. From Chopper 16, we counted over 100 horses still roaming the property. There is a lot to unravel before we get to the investigation and what people are saying about this disturbing case. We want to give you an idea just how awful the scene on this farm is. But first, a very specific warning. What you are about to see is video of dead horses, animals feeding off of carcasses, and other disturbing images. We want you to know some of this video is tough to watch. Only Chopper 16 can show us from the sky. This farm looks like a graveyard. This horse lies dead on its side. It's just one of many. Some appear to have been there for a while, their bodies decomposing. Others have been there even longer. All that remains are the skulls and skeletons. In one spot, you can see piles of bones scattered about the ground. Nearby, this dead horse with what appears to be a rope tied around its front legs. And this haunting image, a dead horse you can barely see through the dark cloud of buzzards fighting for a meal. Other vultures like these, patiently waiting for this horse to collapse and die. This horse did not move the entire time Chopper 16 was there. Chopper 16 also captured this, a cat ripping apart a horse's torso. And amidst the dozens of dead horses, there's this, a herd huddled by a building. Their home, a mix of trash and mud. Gruesome conditions.
Now, people in that area say they are heartbroken and frustrated. WBC's Caroline Coles is in Chopper 16 tonight. And Caroline, when you look down, it is a devastating view.
Yeah, devastating indeed, Todd. Many neighbors tell me they knew about the malnourished horses, but they had no idea there were dead horses there on the ground. And as you can see from Chopper 16, the property is littered with carcasses and roaming horses. Two neighbors tell me they were too scared to help the horses because they say the owner would threaten to pull out a gun on anyone who stepped onto her property.
Ileana Rudder lives just minutes from the farm and could not hold back her tears. Rudder says this sight makes her sick.
It's not supposed to happen.
Rudder says people need to take care of animals.
I think it's horrendous. It's horrendous. Any animal that's put in your trust to take care of, you should take care of them, whether it's a cat or a dog.
You can see from Chopper 16 skeletal remains of horses lying throughout the pasture. Here you see two horses surrounded by bones from other horses. And here is a vulture eating a horse. Bobby Selfie lives in nearby Quantico. She can't believe so many helpless and dead horses are just miles from her home.
These horses are malnourished. They are completely uncared for, and it's a sad situation. The people who live here are overwhelmed.
Bobby's first reaction?
When my daughter told me about it, I started to cry, and then I became very upset and very angry because I love animals. You can't live on the Eastern Shore and not love animals.
A sight many neighbors can't believe is real.
Now, neighbors tell WBOC they're relieved to see the story come and authorities on the property trying to fix the problem. In Wicomico County, I'm Caroline Coles, WBOC News.
Caroline, thank you. As we mentioned earlier, shortly after we discovered the horses from Chopper 16, WBOC alerted the Wicomico County Sheriff's Office. Sheriff deputies and animal control arrived within a half hour. As WBOC's Bill Mitch tells us, police are very familiar with the property.
Sheriff Mike Lewis tells us that his deputies have been called to this property numerous times in the past. A majority of those calls are neighbors complaining about the horses running free in this neighborhood. But this call possibly takes things to a whole new level. By lunchtime, we saw deputies walking the property. They were searching and discovering the remains of several dead horses. Here you can see Lieutenant Tim Robinson move from one horse carcass to another just a few feet away, and scattered all over the ground are bones. We saw a team of animal control and a veterinarian inspect each dead horse that was found. Sheriff Mike Lewis says the property belongs to Barbara Pilchard. Lewis says his deputies have been to this property quite a bit.
Not a few times, not a dozen times, but dozens of times over the years. And these horses have gotten out many times, and they've trampled people's flower beds, they've trampled their yards, and obviously as they eat and consume food, they begin to defecate on people's property in the roadway. There have been several near accidents of these horses being in the roadway.
But the complaint Friday was not about horses in yards or in the road, but lying dead on this property. Here you can see investigators snapping a photo of a horse skeleton while another horse walks by. Sheriff Lewis says the complaints in the past about this property were never this extreme.
I don't recall any complaints of the horses being malnourished, not being properly cared for. They just were escaping from inefficient fencing around the pastures. So this is the first time I've ever had anybody or any concerns of malnourishment or horse weren't being properly cared for. But we'll get to the bottom of it.
From Chopper 16, here are two more animal control officers walking away from two dead horses. So the question is, could charges be filed?
Absolutely. Well, it's certainly animal neglect. But it could be animal cruelty, depending on what our investigation finds out and what we conclude.
What comes next is the removal of several of the dead horses from this property so necropsies can be done to determine how those horses died. It's just the next step in what the sheriff says will be a lengthy investigation. In Wicomico County, Bill Mitch, WBOC News.
The sheriff's office is looking to see if animal neglect or abuse were contributing factors in this case. Police say they did go after Pilchard in the past in regards to the horses defecating on other people's property. There are also a few instances of animal neglect charges. However, a vast majority of those charges against her were never prosecuted. To take a look at those charges, check out the WBOC Web Extra page on WBOC.com.
Now we move to Worcester County, where rescue teams have ended their search in Ocean City after a deadly small plane crash earlier this month. Crews were able to recover all the wreckage from that plane after it crashed off the coast of OC on March 1st. The body of the pilot was recovered. Investigators say there was another person on board. Her body, though, was not found in that search. Police say she was reported a missing person through the Maryland State Police. The cause of that crash still under investigation in Worcester County.
The staffing shortage in Delaware prisons is costing taxpayers a lot. Overtime spending is on pace to skyrocket past $30 million this budget year. WBOC's Kent County Bureau Chief Tom Lehman joins us live from Dover tonight. Tom, that would be a big jump from last year.
Chris, correctional overtime cost more than $22 million in the previous budget year. But the Delaware Department of Correction here in Dover confirms to WBOC it has spent more than $15 million in this current cycle. Some people say that figure is indicative of how much of a problem staffing prisons has become.
I can't put it into words.
That's what Jeff Klopp with the Delaware Correctional Officers Union says about the state's reliance on overtime. Klopp says the situation is dangerous, and having about 100 fewer rank-and-file COs is driving overtime expenditures up.
We're in a worse place than we were over a year ago when Stephen Floyd was brutally murdered. You know, $2.5 million a week or a month in overtime is unsustainable.
Klopp says correctional officers' starting salaries remain uncompetitive with other law enforcement agencies, like, for instance, the Milford Police Department, where new officers are paid $45,000. Governor John Carney pushed for raising COs' starting salaries to $43,000 later this year, and Carney spokesman Jonathan Starkey told WBOC improving staffing levels will be a long and complicated process, and the governor is committed to it and will continue to request resources from the General Assembly that he believes will help. One state lawmaker we spoke with said Governor Carney and the legislature need to focus on addressing prison problems now.
What we should do is make sure that if there is any monies at the end of the budget, at the end of the year, that goes to corrections.
A report on last year's hostage situation at Vaughn highlighted a chronic problem with staffing Delaware's only maximum security prison.
Delaware's Department of Correction did graduate a class of more than 20 cadets today, but Klopp says the rate of incoming officers is barely keeping up with attrition. Reporting live in Kent County, I'm Tom Lehman for WBOC News here in Dover.
All right, Tom, thanks. A beloved Rehoboth Beach activist has passed away. Steve Elkins lost his battle with lymphoma yesterday. Elkins co-founded the Camp Rehoboth Center and served as its executive director for over 25 years. Elkins spent his life fighting for LGBT rights in Delaware, conducting sensitivity training with local police departments. Elkins is credited for helping establish Rehoboth as a welcoming area for everyone. That is something those at Camp Rehoboth say they will continue to do.
Our vision has always been to be the heart of the community, and while our hearts are broken, we understand the magnitude of the situation, and in Steve's honor, we will work hard together to continue to create a more positive Rehoboth.
The Camp Rehoboth Plaza is adorned with lime green ribbons representing those victims and survivors of lymphoma. The center says funeral arrangements for Elkins will be forthcoming in Rehoboth Beach.
Also in Rehoboth Beach, soon it may become pricier to park in the beach town. WBOC's Sussex County Bureau Chief Madeline Everhart joins us live there. Maddie, week-long, weekend, and daily parking passes are all set to increase.
Chris, those increases are in the city's approved budget, which will be voted on tonight here at City Hall. Now, some people say going from $60 to $80 for a weekly pass doesn't bother them, but others fear it could impact tourism. It's no secret that parking is hard to find in Rehoboth, and these spots may soon be even more valuable. The city is proposing to increase daily rates by $5, three-day weekend permits by $10, and weekly permits by $20. Mayor Paul Coons says the change would help pay for city services like trash collection and boardwalk upkeep that all people use, and keep costs from trickling down to the coastline.
If you look at the Jersey Shore, a lot of those towns have actual beach fees. We don't want to have beach fees, and so what's the other alternative?
Of course, changes to parking permits would affect the people who buy them, visitors. And that's something that the Chamber of Commerce here fears could have a ripple effect throughout the community.
The business community isn't embracing that warmly and has concerns over any increase that would deter visitation.
Everhart says if the city is to increase fees in town, they hope it's gradual. Longtime visitors like Lori Cole say it's a small price to pay that she's not worried about.
I love coming here, and it's beautiful. You just have to go along with whatever the people that live here.
Hourly meter rates and longer-term seasonal parking permits will not be affected by the city's new budget. Of course, those proposed changes aren't final yet. They must first be voted on, and that vote is scheduled for right here at 7 p.m. Reporting live in Sussex County, I'm Madeline Everhart, WBOC News, Rehoboth Beach.
Maddie, thank you. Up next on the news at 6, Congressman Andy Harris is back on the Eastern Shore today.
Yeah, after a pretty rowdy visit last April, what people are hoping he addresses tonight.
Congressman Andy Harris is making a visit to the Lower Shore tonight.
Yeah, he's given a town hall meeting at Stephen Decatur Middle School to address a number of topics with the public. Our Brooke Reese is live there tonight. And Brooke, his visit last April did not go as expected.
Chris and Todd, last time that the congressman visited the Eastern Shore last April, crowds were less than welcoming towards him. But as you can see behind me tonight, crowds are starting to fill into the middle school here in Berlin. And they say that they have a lot of topics that they want to discuss with the congressman tonight. Things like immigration and gun control, as well as issues that are specific to Worcester County, like offshore wind turbines cleared for plants in Ocean City. Now, tonight's meeting is scheduled to begin at 6:30. And of course, we will have more updates for you and what the congressman discussed with the public tonight on WBOC News at 10 and 11 o'clock. Reporting live in Worcester County, I'm Brooke Reese, WBOC News, Berlin.
All right, Brooke, thanks. The day started off sunny today, then got a little windy and cool again.
Sure did. Here's a live look into Easton from our Hertrick camera. Sun setting tonight. Dan says St. Patrick's Day will be rather cloudy and chilly, but Sunday's looking quite nice. We'll have a look at your weekend and future forecast. Up next in the news at 6.
Our chilly weather pattern just goes on and on. Radar clear this evening. They may see some snow late tonight in the mountains, but that's going to just be some cloud cover for us. Here's your Boardwalk Plaza Hotel camera. Clear skies Rehoboth. 41 chilly degrees. Satellite imagery shows clear skies here. There was some cloud cover to the north today. That's pretty much gone now. Even a few flakes of snow in Salisbury around midday. There is a storm system off west that will bring us some cloud cover, maybe a sprinkle tomorrow, but it's mainly just going to be a cloudy afternoon. The morning will bring sunshine. Look how warm it was in the plains. Dallas hit 87, but this upper level trough keeping most of the New England states in the 30s and 40s. Our temperature in Salisbury right now 43 after a low of 26. We did get up to a high of only 44. That's over 10 degrees below normal. The winds are still gusting to 30 out there out of the northwest in some spots. Everyone's sustained at 17 to 20. Morning sun tomorrow, and then a weak low comes in with some clouds and some sprinkles, and then that will clear by late tomorrow night. Sunday will be a pretty decent day with sunshine, light winds, and temperatures should get a bit above 50. Tonight, though, another freeze, and a pretty good one, too. 26 to 29 as the winds die. Tomorrow, if you want to do something with sunshine, do it before noon. Some spotty showers after 2 or 3. The rain chances are really fairly low, and any amount of rain would be very light. A cloudy skycast, though. Cambridge at 44 degrees, 3 o'clock. 52 Sunday, 51 on Monday. We will get soaked with wind and rain Tuesday, but not a real coastal storm. The clouds and the chill, though, will linger through next Friday. Chris?
Dan, thanks. After the break, ever wonder about how you see what you're looking at?
Yeah, Charlie sings the praises of the human eye as only he can in this evening's travels. That's coming up next here at 6. But first, the people, the places, our history.
WBOC is proud to serve all of Delmarva. Here's Captain Willie Dice.
The story behind how the town of Trapp, Maryland got its name lives in 2 local legends. Here they are from Chopper 16. Trapp, Maryland is a quiet place to visit, but no one is quite sure how it got its name. The first legend says that Trappist monks had a monastery in this area. The other legend claims there was a tavern called the Partridge Trap. It was the local hotspot and apparently a hard place to leave. However, most historians go with the drunks rather than the monks. John Franklin Home Run Baker, the Major League Baseball Hall of Famer, was born here and lives on as one of Trapp's local legends. WBOC is proud to serve Trapp, Maryland, and all of Talbot County, and proud to partner with my friends at Johnny Janosic, where the ultimate sleep experience begins in their mattress world, with Delmarva's largest selection of name-brand mattresses with the latest in sleep technology. I'm Captain Willie with Chopper 16.
Ever look around and think about all the things you take for granted? It's probably a lot.
Sure. How about the thing you're using to look around, your eyes? Charlie sings their praises in tonight's travels.
I read the other day that the human eye can see over 1 million different colors. Though it's probably not something we think much about until it hits us over the head. Like sometimes when you're out early and you see the color of the sunrise. Or maybe the reflections of lily pads on the water. Or flowers growing over a woodland stream. But in that moment, the majesty of it all reaches inside you and your heart feels what your eyes see. And in that moment, you begin to comprehend the miracle of creation. But there are, in fact, two miracles there. The other one is your eye. For of all the machines there are on earth, there is not one that is truly worth a billionth of the value of the human eye. A machine so versatile it can perceive both distant stars and the honeybee. You know, the eye is such a marvel of design and engineering, it even caused Charles Darwin to doubt the theory of evolution. He wrote, "To suppose that the eye, with all of its inimitable contrivances, could have been formed by natural selection seems, I freely confess, absurd in the highest degree." Well, here's looking at you, kid. Charles Paparella, WBOC News.
Morning sun, clouds in the afternoon tomorrow. Sunday, the better day of the weekend. It's going to pour Tuesday.
All right, thanks for joining us here for the news at 6. Don't forget, for news anytime, get it now on WBOC.com.
CBS Evening News is coming up next. We'll see you right back here. Actually, we won't. We'll not have 7 because of basketball. We'll see you tonight at 10 on Fox and at 11 on WBOC. Have a great night.